No point. Getting rid of a lot of stuff. All right. These is all. This has got to be some kind of pepper or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. I want some pepper plants. I want some pepper plants. That goes over there. This is sand. That's going there. And here. These things are supposed to root pretty easy, and they're not doing it. So I'm just going over there. Uh-oh. Found one that rooted. Those are going right there. That hasn't rooted, and I wonder why that did that. That hasn't rooted. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Now, I wonder why that is. Now, none of those rooted. But look at this one. It's got roots. Now, why did that root like that and the rest of them? Maybe it's because I didn't cut enough off of the... Let's see. Is that gonna root? No. Alright, since that sucker rooted, see the roots on that? I'm gonna plant that. Since it rooted. So you never know when it gets a little sun and then it starts clouding up. Lisa. Look at my gardenia. This thing is really kicking butt. It's almost to the point I want to clip some tops out of here and make that grow. Those Amarillos, they need to be in the cotton picking ground. They're not going to do anything in that pot like that. And that cotton picking cucumber plant, boy, I wished it was over here on that. All right, the top of that's drying for some reason. The top of it is dying for some reason. I wonder what's killing that. There's something killing that. Something is killing that. So you know what? I wonder what killed that. Can't get over to it. It's reached up there and grabbed that azalea limb. It's pulled it way over. It's trying to grab hold of that tomato plant. That tomato plant, you know, ever since something got into that. See this corn plant? This one she started to get rid of, and it's got 3 stalks coming up on it, so that's coming out good. This what do they call this? Poinsettia. Wonder if I can get it over here. But you can see that thing's coming out good. It's gonna, I might see that, all that stuff right there, that's going. That everything in that tray's going. Some of these other, what they call them plants, pot house or something, I don't know. I'm thinking since that, I got cucumbers on that sucker. Daggone it. It ain't gonna be enough to mount anything. I wonder if I cut the top on that thing. Well, I can't get to it. I feel a drop of rain. So, I got a story, but I think I'll go inside to tell it. Close these bags. Now see, this is exactly why none of this is going to work out here. It was foolish of me to think it would. So we got that. Right, now I'm gonna go inside. See my pants? All this dog hair, it's everywhere. And that vacuum cleaner I had, $124.99 from Amazon. I didn't get it from Amazon. Somebody throwed it out. It's still in the carton, brand freaking new. And it was great for getting pet hair off. So I I guess I'm gonna have to go bite the dadgone bullet. I can't save no dang money. I can't save any money. I'm gonna have to go in there now and order a vacuum cleaner. I was gonna try to save up a couple of $100 because I had Stephen, he dropped me about pooped. He dropped me $50 in my cash out. Barbara Everett dropped me $20. It's starting to rain. Dropped me $20 on my PayPal account, and she give me a $5 super chat on, I think, on my Hump Day Live. And I need to look at these right quick. Oh boy, let's see. Oh boy, no it hasn't. That's not a root. Folks, which one of y'all told me these things would root? Well, they're not rooting. They're not rooting. They're not rooting, guys. And these are squash. These bamboos are not rooting. Not even looking at. Matter of fact, they're turning brown. So I went by the road. It's starting to rain. I'm gonna have to go in. I got a story. Junkdobber got strong arm robbed. Took my money and my merchandise I had. I got this story. When I was 13, I had this job at Springfield drugstore. This drugstore, it had a fountain there, you know, they did milkshakes and banana splits and all that stuff, and sodas, and I also had a pharmacy department. And they would start delivering prescriptions around 4 o'clock. And they had got kids like me delivering the prescription. This day and time, I shudder to think what would think. You'd probably get knocked in the head for the pills. But they paid me $20 a week. In other words, 5 days a week I worked. And if they wanted me to work on a Saturday, they would pay me extra. But the way that worked, when I come into work, they would give me $20 in change. Usually it was 2 5s and 10 1s. That's so I could make change when I delivered the prescription. And I delivered them on my bicycle. They would give me a prescription and had the name, the address on it, and how much the people owed on it. And they'd give it to me, and off I'd go on my bicycle to deliver that prescription. Usually it was within about a 4 or 5 block area. Sometimes it would go as much as 20 blocks away. And sometimes it would go into the area that some people called it Colored Town, and some people called it the End Town. And sometimes I had to deliver prescriptions over there. And hey, gee whiz, $20. That was, you know, that was pretty good money for a 13-year-old kid, and I didn't have to pay no taxes on it or any of that stuff, you know. And that's, I had a paper route at that time too that I did. I didn't do it long, but I didn't make as much on that paper route as I can make on my you know, doing the prescription delivery. I mean, the paper route, it was a morning delivery. You had to get up about 4 o'clock, go pick up your papers wherever they dropped them off at, and then you had to roll them up. If there was any supplements, you had to put them in. You had to wrap a rubber band around it, and you had to buy your own rubber bands. And then you had to go deliver them. And then you had to go collect once a week. You go to the house to collect, and they pay you, and you give them this little coupon-looking thing that you paid. So, the paper route, it was a lot of work. The prescription delivery, it wasn't really like work. You got out and rode your bicycle, and kids like to go out and ride their bicycles.
You don't have to go outside. You took it outside.
And plus, a lot of time I'm just sitting around in the drugstore with no prescriptions to deliver. But I had to be there in case one come in to deliver. And there was this one girl, Helen Westbury. Oh boy, she had my attention. And she knew if she come by there any day that I was working, and that she could get a free banana split or a free milkshake. We wasn't doing French fries back then, but he's doing hot dogs and hamburgers. And she knew she could come by there and ask me for one, and I would put it on my tab. I had a tab running at the drugstore. Come payday, when I got paid, sometimes I didn't have but about $10 coming, because that gal had got me for getting stuff for, you know, all. And I got another story about Helen. Oh, she's the one stabbed me in the hand. But I got another story about her. I feel like telling it now, but that'll go in the next video. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I had this prescription come down. It was a strange one. One I hadn't done before. And it was about 20 blocks. It was all the way down to 21st and Main Street. And had to, I don't know how people got the prescription to the drugstore. His name was Mac. His last name was Mac, M-A-C-K, Mr. Mac and Miss Mac. And to give me this prescription, and I hopped on my bike, and I took it down there, and it was to this building. It was some businesses downstairs, and it was apartments upstairs. And I got to the building, parked my bike, went up the steps the back way to this apartment, and I forget the number. Knocked on the door, and there was about 6 or 7 boys, high schoolers. You know, they were up around 16, 17 years old. I'm 13. And they wanted the prescription, but I'm supposed to get paid before they give me the prescription. I said, well, I need the money. And then they got real belligerent. Now, you give us the prescription now, we're going to beat the, I think they said, shit out of you, something like that. Plus, we want your money. Because they knew I carried at least $20. And I had the $20 that day, but I had about $3 or $4 of my own money. They wanted that. So I guess you call it strong arm robbery. Scared the shit out of me. At first I was going to fight them over it. So I give them the money. I give them the prescription. And then one of them said, you keep your mouth shut. You don't tell nobody. And I recognized one of the guys. But I went back to the drugstore. And by the way, on the way back to the drugstore at around 21st and Main, there's a railroad track that goes across the main street, and it goes at an angle. You know, this is the road, and the railroad track goes this way, so the tracks is running at an angle on that pavement. And I was all excited and everything, and when I crossed the track, my front tire, and the twisted down in the groove along the track, and throwed my butt on the ground. So I got skin up and got back to the drugstore, and I was scared to tell them that I got robbed. And so I told them I lost the prescription, I lost the money, because I wrecked on the railroad track. And so I don't know what, I guess they tried to get hold of the people about the prescription. I don't know how that went. and they was gonna let me. They told me I'd have to find me another job or something, cause to lose money like that and lose prescription, blah blah blah. I can't remember all the details, but they didn't fire me. And then about a week later, that same bunch of boys decided they was gonna cut me for money. And then I won't gonna have no part of that. I just took a swing at one and took off on my bike. And I guess at that point, they knew I was gonna turn them in as robbing me. Because somebody called somebody or something. I don't know exactly how it come down, but I guess they figured out the game was over, so they was trying to cover their butt and say it was the other guys that did it, and he didn't have nothing to do with it and all that. But all of that come apart then, and they had to give all the money back. I guess the boys' parents did, and they had to go before the juvenile court. And I don't remember all of what happened, but I told them how it all went down. And so they got in a little bit of trouble over that. But ever since that happened, I never was comfortable going up to somebody's house if it wasn't somebody I knew. Most of the customers I delivered to was repeat customers of the drugstore. But you know, in this day and time, I don't think a 13-year-old that you could hire a 13-year-old to get out there and deliver prescriptions for you. Back there then, all your shopping, I'd say almost 100% of your shopping was done in your neighborhood. Our grocery store, we bought all our groceries right there in our neighborhood. We bought the kerosene for the kerosene cook stove that we had, that right there in the neighborhood. There was a beer joint right there in the neighborhood. The barber shop was right there. Everything was right there in the neighborhood. So you knew who you was shopping with, you know. It was all in the neighborhood. It's not like that anymore. Name of that grocery store Mama bought groceries at was Setzer's. And most of the shopping people did at Setzer's, the big days for them was Fridays and Saturdays. And there was a guy, an old man, well, I'm assuming he was old, he didn't look young. He was blind, and he played an accordion. And he stood out in front of Setzer's there with, another story just come to mind talking about Setzer's. That's a hilarious story too. But the guy played the accordion. He had a cup that was fastened to the front of his accordion. People would drop some coins in there. And there was boys like me. We had a red wagon, and we'd stand out there in front of the grocery store, and people didn't drive, you know, they had to carry their groceries in back. People didn't have cars much, you know, and you had, and matter of fact, if there I don't even know if there was a parking lot at Setcher's. Setcher's was a big store, but the boys would stand there, and you could put your groceries in that boy's wagon, and he would pull your groceries, follow you home with them groceries, so you didn't have to carry them, because some of them had 3 or 4 bags. And they would tip you, you know, usually it was 10, 15 cents that they would give you. And most of them were within 3 or 4 blocks. There was one lady, boy, oh boy, Setcher's was on 8th Street, and I lived on 4th Street. That wasn't a bad walk. But this lady lived all the way over on 1st Street. So you're talking 9 blocks, 9 there and 9 back. And you're always in a hurry to get back to catch another customer. And sometimes you can make $1 doing that on a Saturday morning. But my mama, I always had to pull my mama's groceries, which was fine, you know. But I hated it when she done it on Saturday. I loved it when she done it on Fridays, because I didn't pull groceries on Saturday. But sometimes she'd do it on Saturday, and when she does it on Saturday, that's my money day, and she's cutting into my money. Having me pull her groceries home. Of course, she's not gonna pay me. And sometimes see, when I took somebody's groceries home, I didn't have to carry them in their house. I just had to carry them to their front door. And we lived upstairs, and Mama, she'd make me carry the groceries in the house, upstairs, and all that stuff. So that was a big time killer. For me, it was cutting into my pull time, you know, my money time. But most times she got them on Friday. And most of the time, her grocery bill was like $12, $13, $14, something like that. And at that time, we had an electric refrigerator. We didn't have to use an ice box, so we could actually bring cold stuff home and put it in the refrigerator. But that was the kind of neighborhood it was, you know, and I got some fond memories of that, and I got some bad memories of that. But anyway, that's what do I hear? Is it raining again? It's rained most of the day. But that's my story. The dauber got robbed. I got robbed. They was trying to pull that crap again, but I wasn't no way I was going for that. And I wasn't a big kid or anything. I was tall, but I you know, I wasn't muscular built or anything, and probably couldn't fight my way out of a wet paper bag, so to speak. I'd sure like to run into them rascals. Now, I couldn't do nothing with them today either. I might could have 10 years ago. But I've got some more stories coming up about that neighborhood. There was a bowling alley there. I worked there 2 nights. I was a pin setter. Back then, they didn't have these machines, automatic sets, pins, and all that. They had boys back there working. One boy was working 2 alleys. I ain't getting into that. That's another story. Uh, oh my gosh. Yeah. And there was a funeral home. Let me write that down too. I done forgot about the funeral home. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there was a funeral home. That was another job I had. That lasted 3 days. Oh, and by the way, another thing, did I write that down a while ago when I got that email? I got this email. Turns out this girl, has been watching. Well, she's not a girl, she's my age. Well, she's about 79 or 80. And I've told a story about her before in my video. And she told me, said, Mackie, you can reminisce all you want to, but keep my name out of it. Don't be telling people my name. I gotta make sure. I'm pretty sure I wrote that down. Yeah, I said, don't use my name. And I've got several stories here, about 4 or 5 that I've remembered here in the last week, especially when this one girl, she's not a girl, but this one lady then I started remembering a whole lot of stuff, and she was asking me about so and so. And turns out, y'all heard me talk about Loretta. Loretta still lives. She lived on Liberty Street, and it was 14. I think it was 14, 15, or 14, 13. Liberty Street, but I can't remember if it was North Liberty or South. I know exactly where it wasn't called North or Eastern, it was just called Liberty. It was 1415 Liberty Street. She still lives in that house. She's a widow. Her brother never got married. Her brother never got married, and he's lived there all his life, and he died. But Loretta lived there with her husband, and she had 3 kids. But Loretta's still living there in the house by herself. And I had some times with her too. Loretta, God, and then that just brings back, the stuff just comes flooding back. I had some good times right in that particular point in my life. Most of my life, I wasn't that great. I had some bad times there during that time too with that stepfather of mine. and Mama hit me over the head with a cast iron frying pan. I mean, she knocked the crap out of me. It put me down. I probably had a concussion. But every once in a while, my wife, she'd think about that. She'd reach up there, and I've got a knot on my head where she hit me that left there. And my wife got so mad that she hit me like that. But that's what it is. Anyway, folks, that's my story. That's my video. And I got a little tiny bit did out there today, but not much. It started sprinkling again. Whew. But that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. The dauber got robbed and physically attacked. I don't guess that'd be clickbait if I use that in a title. Probably, well, I did. I got robbed. It was just in 1954, 53 or 54. Oh, I'm telling you about some stories I got coming up. Now, I don't know if this is going to be too risque for my channel or not, but another story, I need to write that down. Guys, we've all been there. I'm sure we have. I'm sure there was a first time. Oop, there went a firecracker. I'm sure there was a first time that you felt of a girl's boob. I remember my first time. That's coming up. Let me write that down. I'll make sure. I think I wrote it down already. Not her. There she is. I'm not going to give you her name right now, but I just got down here blank, played with her boob. I didn't actually play with it. It's just, but it's kind of comical how all that happened and what happened after that. Yeah. And Helen claimed she loved me with all her heart. Oh my goodness. I get thinking sometimes about some of that stuff. I want to tell the story, but I'll do it on another video. Anyway, that's my story, folks. I'm sticking to it. You got some previews there to think about. Oh my goodness. And the time I was kissing this girl, shut up, Dauber. All right, I gotta go. See you in the next one. Love you guys. GoPro, start recording.